tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey guys! We're back! Yay! It's been a few weeks, but we're back to the AfterBuzz TV's SNL After Show. Make sure to like us on iTunes and YouTube and subscribe. Love us. Just love us. It's the Donald Trump episode with Sia as the musical guest. I'm your host, Kelly McInerney. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at HollyWeirdo. And I'm joined by my awesome co-hosts. Hi.
I'm Katie Wilbert, and you can find me on all the things at Katie Wilbert.
And I'm Amy Maestri, and you can also find me on all the things at Amy Maestri.
Yay! So this episode was really hyped. So much controversy beforehand. Lots of people don't like Trump. Dump Trump. That's what people were saying.
That was a thing.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
What were your once you heard he was hosting? What were your guys' first impressions?
I immediately was like, okay, he's hosted before. Mm-hmm. He's a charismatic guy, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, yeah, I think he'll do. Basically, was my you'll do for now. But yeah, I wasn't excited going into it.
Yeah, I guess I had a similar reaction of going like, okay, well, he is a TV personality. He's not actually a politician. He is now he is, yeah. Now technically, by technicalities, he's a politician. Mm-hmm. But TV personality first. So I figured it would be at least entertaining. I also feel like in the past I've seen him be pretty good at taking the piss out of himself. So I figured it would be entertaining. I found it very interesting, but not surprising that the ratings were like the best they've been since 2012 or something, the night that he hosted.
Yeah. I like the idea of him hosting because he hosted before, but also because SNL's like a heavy liberal show. And it's kind of fun to see. He is a TV personality. Like, he's been doing it for years. So I know, like, people are like, oh, well, they shouldn't have somebody that's running for president be on it. I mean, I'm sure they would love to have Hillary Clinton host it, but she has no time to do it. Like, she's not TV personality. She's not going to want to do it. So, yeah, I was like, it's going to be okay. Because I feel like the last time he hosted, it was okay. And it kind of lived up to what I thought it was going to. What did you guys think after watching it?
Well, I was curious going into it how they were going to handle being neutral on their political stances. Mm-hmm. I guess I've been writing a show with Second City that's a political cabaret, and we found it really difficult to not input our own personal political opinions in something that's going to be, or is meant to be totally biased. So I felt like they did pretty well at that, at having someone who's obviously a Republican candidate, but not really going one way or the other with like, we're all Democrats here, or the other way. So I was impressed with that. As far as he goes, like, I felt like it was fine. Yeah. It was, entertaining. He's also like sort of awkward, and he himself is a caricature. So he's like entertaining to watch as a human.
Yeah, I feel like it's also hard to come from that Tracy Morgan high. That was such a great episode. Nothing will compare to that. So it was kind of fine that he hosted.
Yeah, when you come from a former cast member like that, it's like there's not, what are you going to really expect? And I know, too, that they kind of came in like Trump, and he was just, I know he vetoed a few sketches saying like some were going to be too risky. And like, so I mean, I'd be interested to see first what got cut in dress, like what even got to dress. And then also I'd be interested to see some of the sketches that did get cut, that Trump was just like, no, not doing that.
Yeah, they proposed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll see one day. Maybe.
One day.
Yeah.
One day.
But let's get into it. So the cold opening, it was the Democratic Candidates Forum. Typical political cold open like they usually do. Have you guys been following politics at all, or are you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've had to be researching it for the show that I'm writing, which is really cool because I feel like usually I'm not as tuned into the elections as I normally would be. So I've like researched everyone to a T and been watching the debates. And so this has been exciting for me going into all these upcoming SNL episodes because I've been following politics.
Did you watch the actual Democratic candidates forum at all, or?
Some of it, yeah.
Okay.
So not the whole thing, but most of the high points. And I loved the jokes about the dumbass questions.
Yeah. I didn't know it existed, the Democratic candidates forum.
That's why I like that they kind of even joked about that at the top.
Yeah,
that,
that's
like,
what
they're
I
like,
liked.
well, this isn't a debate, and we do stupid things in this, so, no one really cares.
Yeah. But they made it light, and I liked that because they just gave a little snippet to Martin O'Malley just to be like, yeah, we know there's other candidates, but let's get into Hillary and Bernie again. But I know, it was a good, what do you guys think? Rate it if you could.
I mean, I think, honestly, coming off of the Democratic debate sketch that they did the first time Larry David came on to do Bernie Sanders, I don't know that there's been a better political opening on the show in the past decade. I just thought that there's no way they're topping that one anytime soon. But I still thought this one was pretty strong. Yeah, I like the O'Malley stuff. Larry David coming back again to do Bernie Sanders is just absolutely amazing. And just like the Hillary stuff coming off of the Benghazi, just when she comes in, she's like, 11 hours. No one's gonna break me. Like, bringing that in, I thought it was good. I'd probably give it like a B plus, A minus. I thought it was good, strong.
Yeah.
I would give it a B too. I also really liked Cecily's Rachel Maddow. I thought it was pretty great the way she was like moving her lips like her and stuff. I thought it was pretty well done. And I'm loving Larry David.
Me too. I'm glad he keeps coming back.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that will continue to be the case. And I love his take on Bernie Sanders, which I think is so spot on because he is just this like crotchety old, like stubborn sort of socialist.
Yeah. He's like the Tina Fey of this presidential debate. You know how he just keeps coming back. But yeah, the monologue. I was glad that Daryl Hammond came because I'm not a fan of Taryn's impression of Donald Trump, and I was like, come on, Daryl, he's doing the voice.
Like,
he should. And
you're there every week. You might as well like.
But I felt like I feel like Donald's just so stiff, and it just finds it hard for me to like him. Even, I mean, aside from I don't agree with any of what he has to say, but even just like as a person, it's just like I'm a robot. I don't know. What did you guys think of the?
That was my first thought was watching his body, and you see so many impersonations of him, but he himself is like an impersonation of himself. He's so specific in the way he does everything that it just like blows my mind that that's a real thing and that's a real person. But I enjoyed seeing all three of them on stage together. However, at the end of the episode when Bobby Moynihan was doing the porn star sketch, he like his vocalization and stuff of Trump I thought was actually better than Taryn's. So I thought it was interesting that Taryn's doing that instead of Bobby.
Yeah, I think just his face. That's what was the impression.
Yeah. He gets so into it with his face, which I think it's interesting seeing the two of them doing it side by side next to Trump was really cool. Because I know Tina Fey mentions in Bossy Pants, she talked about like the genius of impressions between like Daryl Hammond and Will Ferrell and how they were very different in their techniques. Because like Will Ferrell was a little bit more loose with it, whereas Daryl Hammond was more like, that's terrifying. I think you're that person. And I think it's almost kind of like that, seeing Taryn kind of go bigger and more exaggerated, like with his facial expressions and everything, next to Daryl, who is someone who just, I mean, everything he does is like really, really a spot-on impression. So I thought it was fun seeing them just do it next to each other.
I just felt like the whole monologue, though, it was like, hey, I could take a joke, but the jokes aren't that funny. You know?
Right.
It's just like, look, they're impersonating me. I'm okay with it. But
I can take a bad joke.
It was just like they weren't even doing anything.
Yeah, it wasn't harmful at all.
Yeah.
And the most harmful thing was maybe Larry David coming out and calling him a racist, but then everybody knows that and is on board with that. I guess there wasn't anything that was called out upon him that wasn't already social knowledge or something that he'd spoken back about at this stage. So I feel like it was like slightly unimpressive with that regard.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think it was kind of weak, but I did like that Larry David thing too, just because there was that offer that like the activist who offered like $5,000 to anyone who like called him a racist on air. So as soon as that happened, I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was funny.
I do like that about their rewrites and stuff as they go into a show, is that they're able to incorporate new news stories and stuff like that I feel like is like, it tickles the audience when you see it, that it's like, you knew about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like down to the last second they do it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
If you had to rate the monologue, what would you think?
Like a C.
Yeah, I think so too.
Just an average.
Pass.
Oh.
No, I would, yeah, like, I think a C would be fair.
Yeah. The next sketch, 2018 Trump presidential, like, if he was president, I felt like this one had a great idea, but just the jokes weren't there. Like, nobody was committed, and just, it felt forced. What did you guys think about it?
I felt like it was a poor execution in that it felt like two different sketches, because on the one hand, the 2018, it was saying, like, he's been elected, here's all the stuff he's done based on what we know his platforms are. Ha ha ha, Trump presidency. But then there's this back end joke of Melania for First Lady, and that's the end tag. And so I was like, well, those are two separate sketches. Either it's Melania for First Lady, and that's a whole different thing, or we focus on the Trump presidency and like take it to a 10. And I felt like it didn't, and it was just confusing.
Which honestly, the Melania for First Lady, I think would have been a better sketch.
It's a way funnier idea.
Like, I think that would have been a lot better.
Yeah, I would be curious to know what her stance on being a First Lady would be, and what she would do in the White House. Like, what would be her innocuous cause? Like, that's way more interesting to me than just saying all the stuff that we know he would do if he could, because we already know it.
I feel like him as president is kind of too easy of a joke with, like, all the reality show things. And, like, Ivanka just walking in, who, like, got no applause, by the way. Nobody cared.
So awkward.
Yeah. But, yeah, I wish you're right, they had to pick a thing to do.
And they didn't pick.
I felt like it was a lot of that happened in this episode. Just like, we're going to do this. Oh, maybe not. Oh, we're just going to end the sketch.
And I do wonder how much that does have to do with Trump coming in and being like, put the brakes on this, put the brakes on that. Because like you said, with this idea, that if they had gone for it, they really should have gone for it. You know, and I do kind of wonder, like, if they had gone for it.
Like, is he going to paint the White House gold? Like, is he going to... I don't know. I just feel like there's way more to do with a Trump presidency. Like, did he pick his vice president by selecting Miss United States? Like, there's just so much there that they didn't go for it, and maybe it's because he was on stage with them, but I just felt like... And it was kind of dead. There was no energy on stage. It was really weird.
I think it would have been way funnier, too, if they showed us, instead of just being like, oh, you just did this for that, you know? Like, instead of explaining. I feel like that's, like, just... Even in improv, you're supposed to do it and
not tell.
Yeah. So...
It's like a basic rule.
Come on, guys.
Come on. Get it together. If you had to rate this sketch, what do you think? What do you guys think?
I'd give this one like a C.
Yeah.
Those two sketches. Gotta pick.
I agree. We're on the same page, guys.
This is cool.
Proud of us.
Nice.
Proud of us.
Just cruising right along.
Yeah. Our first digital short, Bad Girls. What do you guys think of that one?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I really liked it, and I think it was nice to have something that was super upbeat and funny that I related to that had nothing to do with politics for a second, especially in an episode with a politician as the host. Kind of politician. But I loved it, and some of the things that were specific that I loved was like her putting the ice cream on the bread, or the moment where they broke and we're talking about the waitress, and you thought they were going to be a dick, but they're like, no, we're going to give 20% because we just don't know what's happening in our day. Like, I love that idea of what normal ladies consider being like a bad girl. I liked it.
Yeah. Like, immediately seeing them, too, I just have, like, flashbacks of, like, doing it in my twin bed and, like, all these great musical shorts that the women have been doing. So immediately I was just, like, I just kind of perked up and got really excited. And it paid off, too. It was I loved it. I think it was one of my favorites from the night.
It was definitely one of my favorites, but I felt like it wasn't as good as the other ones that they've had. Like, Back Home Ballers is the best. And this one was like, okay, it's like I get the joke. And I like the ideas of them. I love the easy jokes of like the elevator and the ice cream and not bringing your full party, but I don't know, I just felt like could have gotten crazier or something.
Yeah.
But out of all the sketches of the night, I think it was definitely one of the better ones.
Yeah, I could see it escalating better. Yeah. I think the execution from everyone was great too. Like they're also good at that, just like really cocky, just kind of like, it reminds me of like Amy Poehler. She was always really strong at that, just like little spitfire, like really cocky about everything. Adie and Kate are, I think, really good at that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Vanessa sometimes, like with that ice cream, that was...
You don't expect it from her, and then she just throws it down and mean mugs you, and you're like, yeah.
But yeah, it was really refreshing to just have not a political sketch, because they weren't even doing politics right, you know? Except, I guess, the cold open was fine, but yeah. If you had to rate this sketch, what would you rate it?
A.
Well, I'm gonna say B plus B, just because it wasn't... I wanted Back Home Ballers. It wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
I feel like if they sang more, I don't know. I don't know what I want.
That's kind of what I thought.
The story. I don't know what I don't know. The next one, Donald Trump live tweet sketch. I hated the idea of this and the whole sketch because I thought it was very lazy and just like trying to force you to laugh with like the pauses. Like what are they saying? People weren't even laughing that much for them to pause, you know?
Yeah.
What did you guys think of it?
I think, like, it's something different. I like that they tried something different, but it didn't work at the same time. So I agree. It was just kind of awkward, and I thought it was kind of forced. I think the one thing that saved it at the end for me was Vanessa at the end when she's just like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, because of that. But I mean, there's really nowhere for a sketch like this to go. Like, it starts here and that's where it's going to end because there's really nothing else you can do with it. So I was like, okay, we get it.
Yeah.
It can be over now.
I felt like, like Vanessa, I don't want to do it. I felt like I didn't want to watch it anymore, you know?
You're like, I feel you, girl. I don't want to be watching it.
I did enjoy seeing her, and I love seeing Vanessa as a boy anytime.
All the time.
We have the opportunity to see Vanessa as a boy. I love it. And I enjoyed the bad sketch that was underneath the actual bad sketch, which was this couple is at this restaurant and the lady keeps making jokes about her husband. Like, I loved the execution of the bad sketch. I could have just watched that for ages. It's like anytime you go to a place and they purposely do bad improv, there's something really enjoyable about it. I wanted to take away the texting aspect and just watch them do this awkwardly paused like sketch where that was semi-robotic and
with terrible writing to it. Because that's actually a really good point, because I feel like the one funny thing kind of got lost because it was overshadowed by like the main point of the sketch, which wasn't as funny as like the weirdness that was happening beneath it that I think probably a lot of people just didn't pay attention to.
Yeah, they did like a light version of a sketch, which was if they went to a restaurant, but the lady who owns the restaurant never brings out the food because she's just complaining about her husband. And so they did it at a light level, and I just would have loved to see like a really bad version of that and just like screw the texting aspect entirely.
Yeah. If you guys had to rate this, what would you rate it?
I would rate
Nothing.
the actual sketch as a D, but I would rate the fake sketch that was written as part of the sketch to be a B.
All right.
Fair enough.
So I guess it makes it a C.
There you go. I was going to go with a C. So yeah, your split was right on.
I'm going to give it an F. I didn't like it.
Fair.
I didn't like it. The next digital short was my favorite sketch of the night. Hotline Bling. So good. Just because it's very like this shows, because of course it's very political SNL right now, especially because of Donald Trump on it, but like this is everybody's talking about this video too, so it's very, I love that they were on point and like making fun of it. What did you guys think of it?
I loved it.
Yeah.
When you brought it up earlier after we'd already watched it, I like giggled at the thought of it. Because there are so many gifs of him like doing this weird arm dance move where people put things there like a basketball or someone's butt, and like it is a ridiculous I feel like they just took the point of view and it was so clear, which was like it looks like he's dancing like an old dad, like a old white dad or like a principal. And I loved it. And the names that they gave some of the dance moves, like I call this the sneaky fish.
I love that
like
so much.
So good.
And Jay's Drake is always just so good too, so I love just getting to see him do that. But I think like it's something that's kind of overdone right now too, like the Drake stuff, because like everyone, as soon as it came out, everyone was making fun of it. But I think they did a really good job of like making it fresh for themselves, and also having Martin Short come in and do Ed Grimley.
It was so great.
Because as soon as he came in, I was like, oh my god, yeah, Ed Grimley is Drake in this video right now. Like, that's how he moves. So I thought it was like they put a good fresh spin on it for themselves.
I just finished reading his autobiography too, and I was like, hey,
I
read it. It was so good. And I love Donald Trump dancing because he's not good at that, but at least that's funny, you know?
That was the first time we saw him like do something that wasn't like, I'm being Donald Trump. I mean, he's still Donald Trump, like, because he can't not be, but it was the first time like he actually was a little out of character, and I was like, yes, okay, yeah, do some more of that now, please.
The tax man. So good.
Do you guys feel like this episode made you more fond of Donald Trump?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I was just curious because I feel like SNL has this sort of power to alter your opinion of people one way or the other based on how someone portrays them, or if they come on the show and take the piss out of themselves. Like, I loved when Hillary came on and did the bar scene with Kate, and I feel like it's endearing, and whether or not you agree with her on her politics, it made me like her, and I'm like, I don't know if that is just the power of SNL, or... So I guess I was curious if that would do anything for anyone in the world, if they would watch this and be like, I don't know, maybe he's not such a bad guy. Curious.
I feel like the writing was like, if it was better, because that sketch that she was in, I felt like the writing was really good, and she was kind of looser. This is, every sketch I was like, this is Donald Trump playing somebody. It wasn't like, he wasn't a character in any sketch, really.
Yeah, if he came in and like committed to like some crazy characters or something, I think my opinion would be totally different. It's not like I'd be like, yeah, Trump for president, but I think it would have, maybe afterwards I would have left it going like, oh yeah, he actually is like a cool, like likable guy, and he did a great job. But yeah, the fact that it was just kind of, everything was kind of half done.
So he needed to commit more.
Yeah.
I respect him for like doing it.
Yeah.
But he, like you said, he didn't commit. So I, like, my respect is there. Still don't like you, you know?
And I think that's fair.
Yeah.
That's the power of free thinking. America.
Yeah.
America.
So, Sia, let's get into her. Let's talk both video. What did you guys think? She's just being Sia again.
Yeah, it's a new sound for her, though. Yeah. This is, I'm interested, I think the new album comes out in, like, January. I'm interested to hear the whole thing, because I loved her first album, and this one is, like...
Does she almost sound reggae different to you in some moments?
Like, soul reggae,
I
kind of?
can't hear a word. I don't know what she's saying.
I never had any idea.
That's great.
I don't know.
It's a great impression.
Thank you. I don't know what she's saying ever. I have to go to Lyric Zone and look it up. You can use that website or Lyric Meters or Lyric
like A to Z.
Yeah.
Lyrics.
Yeah.
I think all the ones I just said are not real ones.
You're just making
sorry. I thought it was. Oh, we don't have the kid dancer.
I missed the kid.
Maddie,
though.
yeah, I want her. But you know what? Whenever I see Sia now too, though, I'm always just like, if Kristen Wiig and Maddie Ziegler are not there, I'm just not going to be a fan of it. But I still did like these performances. But yeah, it's just like the expectation's always here now because we got to see Kristen Wiig dance.
I know, that's what I wrote. So, I said karate lady has nothing on that girl or little girl or Kristen Wiig.
It's perfect.
Then I wrote she karate lady because she was Asian or because she had
she was a karate uniform
on. Okay, I was just
come on, Katie.
I'm not Donald Trump.
I'm just double checking, you guys.
But I did love her face in the second song.
Yeah, she's
made me laugh a lot.
Very expressive.
There was, I was watching it with Kimberly, who's not here with us because she is doing a table read.
No big deal.
Which is really exciting.
No big deal.
But we were watching it, and she at one point walked in when Sia was performing, and the karate lady, as we'll call her, was wrapped up in a sheet, and Kim just shook her head and walked out.
It's great.
I get it.
I could see that.
Some people think it's beautiful performance art. Other people think it's weird as shit. And I just think each to their own.
She's doing her. So
she's just being her. I just want to know what she's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never know what she's saying. I love her voice. I never understand anything that she's saying, though.
She reminds me a little bit of Lana Del Rey in the way that she can go from, like really high and nasally to then, like, being down here and, like, singing like a reggae star.
Yeah.
You know, reggae stars.
Well, if anybody...
You know, those big reggae stars.
If anybody knows any lyrics by Sia and can tell us what she's saying, you know, give us a comment below and just help us out.
Or what
Katie
you
needs
think
to know.
she's saying, because that's more entertaining to me than the actual lyrics. Like, if you've ever heard Sia song and you've thought she said something weird, like, eat your soup, like, let me know, because that's what I thought. It's cool.
All right, cool.
Eat Your Soup by Sia.
Eat your soup.
Dropping next week.
No, it's hot. Cool.
So, update. What did you guys, I don't know, any hot jokes you guys thought of, you guys remember? Any
Some hot jokes.
memorable jokes?
Hot jokes or hot jost?
Oh, way.
Actually, that is one thing that I wrote down. I liked watching Colin do the porn joke way too much. That was really enjoyable. Yeah. Good work, Jost. I like that one.
Anytime he comes on TV, I'm just like, hey, to you and your face. And then I compose myself.
And then you pull it back together.
Thank you. Thanks.
I did like Che's Negro senses with the again thing.
Yeah.
Thought that was very funny.
Yeah.
He always seems to just like twist something and it works out. But I don't know, I felt like the jokes were meh. I liked kind of both of the guests. What did you guys think? Let's talk about Leslie Jones first. She was she tried to answer our gender roles changing, but she didn't really answer the question. She was just talking about like boys.
Talking about dicks a lot.
Yeah. I think
jokes.
I liked the commentary that it took, like the narrative that she took of like the man bitch thing. Yeah. Because that's actually something that I know we've had many conversations about, like how like it's kind of frustrating when like guys wear tighter jeans than you do and
take more selfies than you do.
Yeah. So
I call them something else, not a man bitch, like a fuckboy. That's what I call those guys.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, you did a stand-up bit about this, didn't you?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's cool. Hey, Kelly does really great stand-up, and I'm just plugging you.
Thanks.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey,
she's
permission
gonna be.
slip.
Yeah.
That's one of my shows. Every other Wednesday in Eagle Rock, guys.
So, sorry, unintentional slip.
That's okay.
That was not my plan, but I was trying to pull it off. That's an interesting phrase for it. Is it just because they're just like...
I don't know. I feel like they're just little boys that just want to like get up on you, and you're like, nah.
Yeah.
And you
like
spell boy with
chihuahuas,
B-O-I.
Oh,
you know that type of thing?
Oh, that makes all the difference.
And they've got one of the build hats that they like. Don't quite, they haven't decided on a direction, so it's usually at a diag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they don't even want to commit to choosing if they want it to be front, side, or backwards.
Yeah, something weird like a rose tattoo, too, you know, just to be like...
Oh, like a little effeminate where they're like real men wear roses.
And it's like a tramp stamp one, too, on their lower back.
If you're one of these people, like, we love you, too. We just don't want to date you. But there's so many people in LA who really do.
Not us.
Just not us.
Just not us three. There's billions.
But there's so many. I'm so sorry that it's gone this far. So Leslie Jones, I thought, was very funny. I like Leslie more and more just for being Leslie. Mm-hmm. I love that she's always sexually harassing Colin Jost because I feel like she gets me. You know what?
You're living vicariously through her.
I am. And just one of these times I'm waiting for her to just like reach over and kiss attack him, and I think she's gonna.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And then I'm just gonna like repeat it and like really visualize myself doing it.
I wish that she would start escalating it, because I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, I like Leslie so much because of how hard she commits to it, but at the same time I'm also like, it's always kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just like
are you going to touch him or not?
Yeah, like, I get it. You're angry about something and you're going to yell at us for a couple minutes. But, like, let's maybe change it up a little bit.
She always calls him a tall drink of something. Do something else.
Yeah,
I agree. She
just
should
grab
kiss
him.
Like a tall box of...
Yeah, she even confused herself in this one, I think, on the second one.
Yeah.
I don't even know what she said, but I don't think she knows what she said either.
Yeah.
I did like what she had to say, though, and I agreed. No guy should say, yeah, like, text, yay.
That made me laugh.
Don't send me veggies, send me meat.
Yeah.
So funny.
That was good.
But Drunk Uncle came along, and I think this was my favorite Drunk Uncle, like, maybe ever, because he never really has much of a purpose. You know, he's just doing little bits. This is middle America, essentially.
Yeah.
You know, loving Donald Trump. And I liked that he was, like, all for Donald Trump. We both love white Russians.
As soon as they announced him, I was just like, of course he's going to be Trump's number one fan. Like, perfect.
Makes perfect sense, yeah.
So many good isms in there, which I thought was great. I did think it was way too long, and I thought they could have ended his whole thing after he goes, he's gonna make America grapes again. I felt like that would have been a great place to cut it, because you'd already got the idea of what the shtick was, and then it just kept going, and then I left the room because I had to pee. And I always choose the moment that I feel I can leave to pee, and that was the pee moment.
I appreciate your honesty, though, you know?
It's okay.
It's a sharing table
Your
tonight.
pee should always be clear, constant, and copious. That's how you know you're healthy and hydrated, unless you've just had vitamins. Then it should be bright.
Hey.
I feel like there's just
more
been
you
like
know.
a PSA yet tonight.
And Kelly will be performing stand-up.
So will you in December. Oh, we're just plugs.
It's true.
I think the amount of like one-liners and quotes from this. I mean, Drunk Uncle always has a lot of them, but I know like when he just went on like a few rapid fire ones, it's like I'm running for president, and then eat my flax seeds on my hoverboard when he's mocking people, and her name is Bruce, and the whole audience was like took a second, and then they were like, oh, and then they kind of caught on to it. I was like, I don't know why it took you guys that long, but I thought it was great. I thought it was one of the best of the night.
If you guys had to rate like Leslie and Drunk Uncle, or just all of Update, what'd you think? All around.
A B.
Yeah.
Yeah, all around a B. I give Drunk Uncle an A, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Yeah.
And then we got into this weird sketch, the Lake George Band with the laser harp.
I think I'm gonna go pee now.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
so this is Amy's P sketch, which for all our listeners and viewers is the sketch where you feel you can leave because you don't feel you're going to miss something. Mm-hmm. So moving forward, we'll all pick a P sketch.
We all
each
know
episode.
the P sketch.
Mine's usually just the musical guest.
Yeah, that's
like, to
real.
be fair.
Yeah.
But it is kind of an intermission, so that makes sense,
Yeah.
you know. And maybe you're drinking a lot of water. I don't know your bladder habits.
I do drink a lot
It's good
of
to be
water.
hydrated.
There's
Good
my
work.
water bottle right there.
Oh, that's
a
so
big
good.
one.
That's a big
I
one.
see it, and there's not a lot of water because she's been drinking. I'm so sorry.
Good work. Good work.
The band laser harp sketch is what I called it.
That's what I did.
I just enjoyed the moment where he did the first like hand pluck, and I laughed. But then I didn't like the game of the sketch because I didn't feel like it was very funny. Yeah, it just felt like a way to get a lot of cast members on stage, but I didn't feel like it was effective or necessarily enjoyable.
I didn't get it because, like, he was getting enough time, and also, why did they all leave? Because laser harp sounds like a great, you know, instrument. Like, why would that be like, this sucks, I'm gonna walk out, like...
Why not make it great, like the greatest thing they'd ever heard?
Yeah.
Sometimes I think it's a way stronger idea to end a sketch on, like, everybody loves this versus everybody hates it. Because, like, where do you go from everybody hates it?
Well, and I think that was the theme tonight, there were so many sketches that just never left level one.
Yeah.
There was no escalation. This was just, I think, an awful premise. Like, there was no point to this premise whatsoever. And then, again, you don't have anywhere to go with it. It's just like, oh, okay, there's the game.
Yeah.
And now it's over, so we still have 4 more minutes left of it. What do we do now?
Yeah, it was just half-assed. Much like I feel like the next one a little bit. Except Beck Bennett. I felt like he was committed, hardcore.
Yeah.
Just him singing. I just wanted to see him sing, though, more. Instead of, like, hear him. But
he like put up a video of himself like doing it in the background.
But it didn't end. Like Donald Trump just walked in with some sunglasses, like, "Hey, make a record."
I didn't feel like that was the button it needed. Yeah. I guess it's been a theme this season for me that the sketches seem to not end, or they end in a weird way that had nothing to do with the original premise. Which, I feel like you take any improv and sketch writing class, they pretty much tell you, like, pick one idea and stick with the idea. Just heighten that one idea to its greatest potential. Don't, like, go in 5 different directions, because that doesn't make a sketch. That makes something that's very confusing, or, like, a scene in a movie. And I feel like it keeps happening where then they throw in the weird Melania for First Lady, and you're like, what? That's not what the sketch was about. So then write that sketch. I felt like it was similar, like, write the sketch about the guy who was charging you $1,000 on his little karaoke machine to sing your... It was just, it felt like...
I feel like they throw a lot of things and they're like, one of them will stick. You know? And none of them do.
Yeah,
and then
never
this guy
landed
comes
for me.
in and is like, you're going to be a star. And then we'll put a star of his face. Like, I guess I just felt like all they had to keep doing was heightening the game of the dad who's like, it sucks, right? Who gets more angry and plays more ridiculous things. Or, next it's a music video like Rebecca Black's Friday. Like, I felt like there were ways to heighten it and stay within the game. It's not boring to just, like, keep with the same idea, but just, like, bump it up.
Yeah, because even, like, going in different directions, too, when he started saying, like, oh, yeah, because the dinner sucks, too. And I'm like, oh, so he's just going to be the guy who says everything sucks. Oh, no, okay, we're going back to singing. Okay, we're just going to do that. So it was just, it was kind of confusing and didn't really land for me. But Beck was very likable in it. Yeah.
If you had to rate these 2 sketches, what do you think? I'd say F. I don't even care.
I mean, I did actually like this scene. I just didn't think it ended well. Because I liked his character getting upset, and I liked some of the comments from 80, like, is that auto-tune? Like, some of that I really enjoyed. And was this, like, the first thing we saw Pete in?
Yeah, I think so. I thought that, too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the laser band thing, definite F. And
laser
then
band,
this one I'd give like a D.
Okay.
C, D.
I'd give it a C+ because I really enjoyed Beck's character.
All right.
And I really liked the part where there was auto-tune because it made me laugh.
That was... Auto-tune's funny.
I really liked the little intro before the second Sia with the toots and the Maytals. I like when I thought it was a great idea that like a former host with their one-hit wonder musical guest just like talks to them again. Even though it was like a weird sketch and it kind of didn't go anywhere, but thought it was a funny idea. I think they should have more of those, you know?
I think the idea is funny. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think it was executed well. I didn't
like
it. Yeah.
Execution
like,
sucked.
Great idea.
Yeah.
And then, oh no, what did you do to it?
And the last sketch, though, was the ad with the former porn stars. I'm just so burnt out with this sketch. Like, they always show it at least once a year, maybe twice. You know, with what do you guys think of it?
This was one of my favorites when they first started doing it, just because their chemistry together and like the writing for it, I thought was always so good. I think, it's one of those ones that like you can only see so many times. So I definitely didn't think this was the best one, but it did definitely have its moments in it that I really liked. Yeah. So I thought it was good, but definitely not one of their better ones.
I still enjoy their characters, and I look forward to hearing the new ways that they screw up words and make them sexual.
Yeah. I liked Lee Daniels in The Butler.
That was my favorite one. That's what I wrote down, too. I think it wouldn't have worked. Yeah, that depended on you having to visually watch SNL and not just, like, be walking by and listen to it. But that was my favorite part, was the name game. Yeah. And I thought there were a lot of clever titles in there. Or, like, what was it? The president... shoot. It was like the United States president and a horse or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because that's actually kind of how this was started too. Was there was a Swarovski pop-up shop like outside of 30 Rock, and they like saw them and they're like, how would these girls talk? And Cecily and Vanessa just like started talking in those voices, and they were like, God, they would like screw up every brand name, like luxury brand name, and that's like where it started. And they actually wrote it with our boyfriend Colin Jost, so like that mispronunciation thing like was actually like kind of the basis of them starting it, because they're like, how would these girls say these words? They will not say them correctly.
I love the stories of how these sketches get developed, because you do wonder sometimes, like, how did that happen in your brain? They saw Swarovski crystal girls. I can never say it, so I have to do like this weird mouth thing.
Swarovski crystals.
So overall, meh, right? What do you guys think? If you could, I guess I wasn't disappointed, right? What do you? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is what I expected it to be.
Yeah. But next week, Elizabeth Banks is hosting.
Yay!
Pretty exciting. With Disclosure. I'm pretty excited for that. So, yeah, so before we go,
I'm just going to jump in and do it.
Where can they find you on
My
the
name is
internet?
Amy Maestri. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Amy Maestri.
I'm Katie Wilbert, and you can find me on all things at Katie Wilbert.
And I'm Kelly McInerney. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at HollyWeirdo. And we'll see you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.